Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon. Thank you for joining today's webinar. Today's topic is use SAP Integrated Business Planning for supply chain to be agile and proactive during market variations. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Mathangi, and I'm a project manager here at Terra Information Group. I'll be the moderator for today's webinar. Before we begin, I want to mention a few housekeeping items. If you can go to slide 2, please. Thank you. All participants will remain on mute during the session. If you have a question for our presenter, please type it in the question box in your participant panel. If we are unable to get to your question during the session, we will be sure to follow up with you afterwards. Today's presentation is being recorded. A link to the recording will be sent to all registered attendees shortly after the session. Now, I'm pleased to introduce our speakers today. Randy Redenour is Senior Vice President of Sales at Terra Information Group, and Lalit is Senior Architect at Terra Information Group. And with that, I'll turn it over to you, Randy.
Thank you, Mathangi. And may we go to the next slide, please? Yeah, my name is Randy Redenour, and I'm the Senior Vice President of Sales. And certainly want to thank you all for joining us this afternoon. We're very excited about SAP Supply Chain and IBP. It's a very significant piece of our business the last several years and a focused practice for us. And I also wanted to have a special thank you to SAP and Andy McAleer for his help in socializing this webinar, both internally within SAP and externally. So we're very pleased with the number of attendees and registrations. So we're going to start off. This is just a high-level agenda, introduction to TIG. We won't spend too much time on it again. Who we are, what we do, how we do it, and why we do it. Then the SAP IBP end-to-end process flow, typical challenges in supply chain. We have some use cases and a live system demo, which we're very fortunate to have Lalit, who's going to do a positive and excellent presentation. He's a senior level architect in IBP. And then we'll close with about us, and we have a Q&A session at the end. So next slide, please. Yeah, this is a high-level overview. We're about 200 people, and we were founded in 1997. And we're an SAP partner, services partner globally, and most of our consultants have over 15 years of experience. We are a global company with an office in North America, Chicago headquarters, Asia Pacific, EMEA, and we also have some Latin America exposure in Argentina. And we're the #1 SAP partner and vendor And our focus again has been on IBP and SCM. That's our expertise, and our focus, as I said, the last few years, and it's certainly an employee-owned and driven and customer-centric and customer-focused organization, which we're very proud of. So next slide, please. Okay, these are Terra Information Group. These are differentiators. What makes Terra Information your vendor of choice, and the differentiators that we have. We have a proven delivery methodology. Again, it's a spin-off of ASAP, but we've developed a little bit further. We have accelerator templates, 18 assets to accelerate implementations. Global reach offers us an expertise. We can do global templates and localizations around the world. We have 30 plus consultants in specifically our IBP and SCM practice. So we have a large focus and a large tool set. And we have obviously based on, as I mentioned before, our close relationship with SAP and Andy McAleer and his SCM and IBP organization. This enables us to stay on the leading edge of the technology, stay close to the roadmap and IBP, and we have the total cost of service. That's a big issue for us. But we were into balanced pricing with outstanding quality. We believe in being customer centric and customer focused and having every client and every implementation referenceable. That's how we've grown organically throughout the years, and it's been word of mouth. These webinars certainly help, but from an organizational standpoint, it's a lot of clients referrals, and SAP, obviously, they drive a lot of our businesses as well. We have the full employment model. The majority of our resources are employees of our company and their industry. We have the industry leading low turnover rate. Our turnover rate is extremely low for the industry. And most of our consultants, as I mentioned before, have at least 10 years of experience. We're very much into partnering with our customers. We consider ourselves a partner instead of a vendor. So we have a win-win relationship with all of our clients. We want them to be the clients to be successful so that we're successful, and we have further business and future implementations. Our value proposition includes quality is very, very important. Integrity, we operate always with integrity. Commitment to making sure that everybody has a positive experience, that the implementation is successful, and we're very innovation and solution driven as an organization. So these are our strengths, and we're very proud of the work that we've done and the practice that we've built, and looking forward to working with a lot of you after today's session. I think you're going to find the presentation by Lalit to be extremely beneficial. So next slide, please. Again, these are some extensions of our differentiators. We start all projects. We don't come in with a blank slate. We came in with pre-built templates. As you can see, we have a training videos, configured documents, process documents, sampled templates, integration mapping sheets. We have S&OP, demand planning, supply chain, supply planning, inventory optimization, and HCI integration. So we show up, we already have these documents, so you're not starting, we're adding value from day one. When our people hit the ground, they're not starting with a discovery session, and you're not paying for us to learn your business and to learn anything about IBP. We came in with a preset of templates. So that's value add right from day one, which is a huge differentiator to a lot of the large SIs charging for discovery sessions, and that's not our model. So next slide, please. And again, this is a high-level overview of our services, and this is not all of them, but it's just, again, a small picture of it. We do projects, we do integrations, staffing, maintenance. We do a lot of post-implementation support and AWS. We do a lot of upgrades from ECC to S4HANA and implementations. Security is a big issue for everyone these days, and that's something that we're very proud of, the security practice. Help desk, we have a very, very large organization, and a lot of our business is in AWS, level 1, level 2, level 3, remote support, and it's 24/7. We go round the clock with our Indian people, an offshore team offsetting the US team in Chicago. So you have full coverage. Custom developments, we do a lot in-house, and if need be, we can go offshore or near shore for developments if it's a cost-effective solution. Learning, we do a lot of training. We have a lot of different training methodologies, both classroom, CBT, train the trainer, all those different things. So again, we're very excited about all of the work that we do and roadmaps and all the other solutions that we have, technology, integration, migrations. We do a lot of additional interfaces to third-party applications. When our clients need us, we're able to do that. We have a lot of history in integration and migration. And roadmap strategy, that's a new practice area for us that we've always had, but we're really focusing more on high-level roadmap discussions with the steering committee and the leadership and with SAP to understand the roadmap. And we do a lot of work with the utility IS industry solutions and roadmaps. So we're very, very current, and we can do a lot of assessments and remediation. So we're proud of the practice. We've become moving up the value chain much more than just a staffing or implementation partner. So next slide, please. And this is a project services overview. This is our model for implementations: plan, build, manage at SAP solutions. And our delivery models: turnkey projects, co-managed projects, performance-based, and staff augmentation. So you could see the breadth of services. And again, it's primarily S/4HANA cloud-based solutions, but we also still have a lot of clients that are on ECC that we help and help transition them and migrate from ECC to S/4 through Solutions Manager and some other tools that we have for migration. Next slide, please. Okay, I think at this point I will turn it over to our subject matter and architect, Lalit.
Thanks, Randy. Thanks for handing over to me. Hi all. So this is basically this slide depicts where exactly does your IBP solution fits into end-to-end business process flow. So if you can see, there are a lot of different functions within any kind of supply chain, starting from design, including planning, procurement, manufacturing, all of these things. And SAP comes where we call it as a plan. Basically, IBP is a advanced planning tool and the kind of upgraded version, I would say, from the world of APO, which was a fantastic solution, and it's still being used. But IBP is a cloud-based solution and coming up with a lot of other functionalities within that cell, and with a lot of integration technologies coming up within that. So here is with where IBP stands. Once the design is done, we had to plan for any of the upcoming variabilities or fluctuations in ongoing demand and supply. For that, we go ahead with the planning, and there we use this particular IBP, and it fits into that particular part. It basically comes with at a high level. It comes with the 4 very crucial modules or critical functions, I would say: demand planning, inventory planning, supply planning, as well as distribution planning. Along with that, it also offers various other solutions like demand-driven replenishment, DDMR, P&L, and synchronization with PPDS, confirmations, and all those things, right? So let me go to the next slide, which depicts the end-to-end business process flow within an IBP solution. What are the different components which it has and it offers? So basically, IBP comes with, as I mentioned, some from the demand planning part, where we have some kind of historical data based upon number of different factors. It may be your demand history, your promotions, your sales, whatnot, actual sales. And based on that, basically we do some kind of algorithms. We process a lot of things within those based on that data set. And there are a lot of algorithms inbuilt within IBP suite, which provides help to not only to the organization but to business planner if there are any inconsistencies with the data. If for example, if you talk about demand inputs, there are historical sales based on which we can have the segmentation. ABCX was a segmentation based on volatility and forecastability of the data set. We also have, it also provides time series analysis, which is nothing but a pattern recognition technique which is provided based on which it's very easy to find out which particular pattern, either sales trends, constant sales trends, whatever that the particular product or customer group or product customer combination, and whatever the level we are planning for is following, right? So these are very typical and very important methodologies which are available within IBP demand planning. Once that is done, we have another set of algorithms for data preparation. Now there are a lot of inconsistencies in the data, or you may not say inconsistency, but due to, let's say, promotions or any such events, the sales history is not the correct indication. In that case, there are a lot of algorithms which are inbuilt again within the IBP suite, demand planning suite. They are provided to cleanse our historical sales based on the lot of algorithms, AI/ML algorithms. Once that is done, now we have, let's say, we have the complete data prepared for prediction or statistical forecasting. IBP demand, demand for IBP provides lot many algorithms within demand planning, not only simple algorithms, but it has AI/ML based gradient boosting algorithms, Arimax, and whatnot. I mean, based on all these inputs, then these algorithms can be used up, in order to predict the forecast as accurate as possible. And not only the forecasting technique, but error measure calculations are also there, which typically helps it to identify which particular model is actually best fitting to the historical pattern, and which can mimic the historical trend and predict forecast more accurately. Once that is done, one of the very important feature when it comes to IBP, then the name suggests integrated business planning. What it has, that we can have multiple stakeholders. It can be your sales forecast, sales manager, marketing team, financial forecasting team, and global planning team, local planning team, whatnot, right? So they can all have a single point of data set, or single place where they can put the data from their own expertise in the market. And once that is done, there can be a consensus demand plan which can be generated based upon the input from multiple stakeholders, not only from demand but also from inventory, from supplier, from production, and all the stakeholders within your supply chain. And definitely there are a lot of algorithms which are to calculate the accuracy calculation of that particular forecast, so that if it becomes very easy to identify if the forecasting which is being done by different multiple planners is on the right track or not, if there is any kind of bias or any accuracy issue or not, right? So based on all these things, demand planning actually try to predict very intuitive output, which can further be used for directly for supply planning or for inventory optimization. Coming to another part from inventory optimization, this is very typical and very important solution and unique solution offered by within IBP suite, and the kind of algorithms which it offers, that is multi-stage inventory optimization run, which consider not only the single stage, but it considers multiple echelons or nodes, I would say, in your supply chain, propagates the variability not only from demand but also from the supply side, all the lead time variabilities, all the service levels based on the customer service levels, demand variabilities, and based on that, this particular algorithm tries to recommend number of outputs. The very important output is recommended safety stock level and target stock level. This is the main output. But not only this, it also predicts that what should be your cycle stocks, what should be your pipeline stocks, what should be your inventory in transit stocks, and all those, and what are the good position to have to hold the inventory, from where we need to shift the inventory to any DCs or to any warehouses, and all those things in a very efficient manner, in a very cost efficient way, right? So that is one of the very intuitive feature which is being offered by inventory optimization suite within IBP. And finally, we have supply planning, which is no less than any other module where we have the inputs from demand planning as a consensus demand, and the inventory optimization as the safety stock recommended safety stocks and target levels. based on which we can go ahead with any kind of planning and constraint planning or constraint planning. Now it tries to give the kind of output which not only helps in the planning process but also helps in understanding how our long-term strategy planning can be done if there is a need of any further plant setup or machine setup or resource setup, if we need to have any multiple vendors, or not only from the planning perspective but also from the financial perspective, that if we go ahead with multiple vendors, or if we had to choose between multiple vendors for multiple production plants, what could be the best possible option, what could be the best possible product mix if we are going with the multiple products in a capacity or constraint scenario. I would say what should be the best product possible product mix which can govern high level of profit and margins within the organization. So yeah, definitely, I mean, all this comes, and there is a S&OP process which is very intuitive tool where, as I mentioned, all the stakeholders across the supply chain can come together, can reconcile and review whatever the plan is, and then it can go for the management review, and finally can be released for the procurement and production to the execution system. So overall, basically it covers the end-to-end flow when it comes to any kind of planning, starting from demand, including inventory, till the supply planning, right? So without wasting our time, I'll quickly go to some of the key challenges which we face, which any supply chain industry face in in any kind of supply chain across any industry, basically, which includes sensing of the demand, because demand is very fluctuating these days, and due to proliferations of SKUs and new products, new launches, lots of opportunities and risks, everything considering, there are a lot of impacts on the sector, that we need to have much more information, much more market intelligence, high level of inventories to be available to cater all these variabilities, right? Another major challenge from the inventory point of view is that a lot of multiple materials are there, a lot of product substitutions are there, a lot of possibilities across the locations are there, and due to which the frequent transfers are required, frequent orderings are required, relabeling are required, right? Which needs to be managed. Similarly, from the production point of view, we all know that there are a lot of constraints when it comes to capacities, or it comes to the the supplier or the material availability, and there are a lot of changeovers which are there within any kind of organization. It may be pharma, it may be I mean automotive industry, it may be FMCG. Each and every industry has these kind of issues from the production point of view, where there are a lot of production constraints, and the impact is that either the available capacities are not 100% utilized, or the kind of changeovers are very increased, the kind of batch which is the batch number which are being produced are not as per the expected, and there are a lot of shelf life expiration as well, right? From the procurement uncertainty also, there are a lot of suppliers which we can go ahead with, which any organization can go ahead with, depending on their the cost, depending on the price. There are a lot of make versus buy decisions, which are very critical decisions to make. In what conditions these decisions to be made is also one of the very important or key challenges, right, within your supply chain. And last but not the least, that is the distribution planning, which is nowadays the distribution network is highly complex, right? And to in kind of any lesser supply and higher demand situation, where we need to distribute the stock which is available to multiple locations or multiple customers, which we want to go ahead with some kind of planning rules, basically, so that every customer gets something and no one remains with any no stock at their premises. All these things needs to be planned, and definitely a lot of manual interventions are required to have all those distributions and shipments, right? So these are the typical challenges, not only in any single function but across the supply chain planning. And IBP is a very innovative technology which helps in achieving all those, in resolving all these issues perfectly. Moving on to next slide. So these are basically our use cases. There can be many more use cases apart from this, we have listed out a few. From the demand planning, there can be, A, B, C, X, Y, Z segmentation, which is definitely required from, the categorization of SKUs based upon, the volatility and forecastability and revenue generation, profitability of that particular SKU and location. Not only this, it also helps in multiple other scenarios, from supply planning, from inventory planning. Apart from that, there are a lot of automation within the time series analysis, where it is required to analyze. For example, there's a planner who is not sure what is the typical behavior of that product, or what has been the behavior of that product. So as I mentioned, time series analysis is a very intuitive technique which tries to recognize the pattern, and as an output it predicts that, okay, this is the typical behavior which this product has been following, and you can then go ahead with multiple different statistical forecasting algorithms, right? There are a lot of risk and opportunities which can also be included within your planning, so that you can take advantage and of any opportunity is going to be there, or you can, watch yourself in your plan very in well advanced for any risk which you foresee. Also new product introduction. So there are a lot of different use cases, not only from demand, from supply as well. If you talk about supply, there are product plan prioritization, production plan prioritization, where you want to, prioritize the product based on multiple resourcing restrictions, multiple product restrictions, or country restrictions, or region-wise restrictions. There are a lot of rules which are there, and then there are a lot of product mix which you need to have in a kind of, supply constraint or scenario where you have not enough capacity, or material shortage. There are a lot of fluctuations also, with the help of which, due to which you may want to go ahead and take a decision to either increase the capacity, or not only increase, what would be the impact of increasing the capacity if there are any demand fluctuations. Is it possible from the financial perspective? Is it given a go ahead from the management point of view, and not, or not? So all those decisions needs to be taken, right? Make versus buy, component substitution, definitely one of the pharmaceutical cases. Multiple batch sizes across all industries. So all these are supply based use cases. Coming to inventory, one of the very important aspect, we do generally sometimes treat inventory optimization as a less uh, important aspect of supply chain, but it is very crucial, because this is where the working capital or investments are actually increasing, and the profit margins are definitely decreasing due to huge inventory or undistributed inventory. So there are multiple target service level. Definitely service level is one thing which we want to achieve as much as possible, but there has to be some limitation, because we cannot just go ahead and have 100% service level all the time. So there has to be some kind of balance between your service levels which you want to attain, and the investment you want to do for your inventory, right? And there are multiple variation, not only from the demand side but from the supply side. That can be your transportation lead time, that can be your production lead time, that can be your frequency of ordering, right? And that can be your node type. You can have multiple stocking nodes, non-stocking nodes. All these can be one of your use cases within your supply chain. And last but not least, again, S&OP, which is basically at a high level, how your supply chain is delivering or behaving, right? What are the projected revenues? What are your operating profits? What are your gross margins? What is your AOP versus constrained revenue? So a lot of other information, a lot of KPIs can be built across this, and the decisions can be made for the supply chain in order to have a very cost optimized and profitable solution. Moving forward, we have selected a few use cases to be showcased in the system, so that you also get a look and feel of how the tool behaves. What is the look like? What does it look like? What are the different UIs which we have? So we have covered a few use cases from our earlier use cases description. From the demand, we have taken segmentation, again based upon the categorization, or I would say ABC XYZ segmentation. Multiple inventory policies based upon ABC XYZ segmentation. Will come to that. Multiple what if scenario capabilities, which is very unique feature which this particular tool offers, on the fly scenario creation. then to get a best product mix in a kind of constrained capacity, how to allocate the capacity in the best possible way, and then we'll go ahead with a few of the dashboards also within your supply chain. So let us move into the system demo quickly, and we'll definitely try that. Yeah, one second. Okay. So before jumping on to the system demo, there is a very, unique feature about IBP. So it comes with two different user interfaces. One of them is a web UI, which is web-based, browser-based, I would say, and it can be accessed from anywhere through any mobile device as well as tablet and desktop, laptops, anyway. Right, so this is a very important and unique feature, because nowadays we cannot just sit on premise and go ahead with any kind of discussion. We need to be more a lot of travels are there. So based on that, this feature is enabled, and the lot of things can be shared across the users, across the supply chain, across your organization, where multiple stakeholders, multiple planners, business managers, and all the management teams can communicate with each other and take a decision further. Another UI is Excel based UI, which is very comfortable to be used by most of the planners, which has been the trend. Earlier used to be kind of downloads from the tool into Excel, then the planners used to work on in that, and then they used to upload the data again to the tool. But SAP has come up with, IBP has come up with this particular add-in, which directly integrates with our Microsoft Excel. And all those features of Microsoft Excel can also be used with these along with the IBP capabilities, right? So these are the very two UIs basically which SAP IBP comes with. We have formulated few use cases where we'll start with the ABC XYZ segmentation. As I mentioned, ABC XYZ segmentation is it can be based upon your product, customer, product location, customer group, whatever the level you want to go ahead with. You can have your product, you can have your historical data at that particular level, and then you can go ahead with ABC XYZ segmentation in the particular tool. So a little bit about the technique which we use, which SAP IBP use for ABC XYZ segmentation is for ABC. Let's say here we typically provide some kind of the level at which we want to calculate the ABC XYZ segmentation. Here we have it at product level, but it can be at product, location, customer, and this is very flexible to have it any other level. The measure which we want to calculate on basis of which we want to go ahead and calculate any kind of segmentation criteria, and the periodicity is also there. So it depends how you want to go ahead with this kind of segmentation. It can be weekly, monthly, yearly, quarterly, in the daily bucket as well, right? So these are the basic inputs, and there are a lot of techniques basically to find out the segmentation based on, let's say, Pareto principle, 20-80 rules, where we define, okay, 70% of the products which are actually contributing towards the 70% are A category, should fall under A category. Those falling under B, 20% should fall under B category, and 10% should fall under C category. All those multiple segmentation methods are available. Along with that, there is a K-means methodology, which is AI/ML based, which typically calculates the based on the historical data. It itself calculates what should be the segmentation criteria. If the planner is not aware about that, then they can definitely go ahead with this K-means segmentation method, and it will definitely provide whatever the results, planning results are based on ABC. And similar to that, there is XYZ segmentation. Again, the segmentation measures the planning levels, the periodicities, multiple calculation strategies, methods, and whatnot. This is very flexible, lot of input data, a lot of algorithms available, and once we run them, it quickly produces, or it quickly provides an output based upon either actual quantity or actual revenue. So here is one of the template which we have created specifically for ABC XYZ segmentation, which typically tells that, okay, these are the products which fall under A Y category, these are the products under B Y category, then these are the products under CX, CY, CZ respectively, right? And this is purely based upon the actual revenue, the quantity which we have. Now, very importantly, all these things, because sometimes Excel, this kind of data is really hard to analyze by the planners or any kind of stakeholder. So there are a lot of dashboard and analytics which are provided within IBP suite and very flexible to be created based upon based upon the idea which you have. For example, you want to go ahead with a pie chart, you want to go ahead with any kind of bar graphs or line graphs, anything you can go ahead with and create these kind of heat maps within your IBP suite. So this particular ABC XYZ segmentation dashboard, it clearly provides what are the products which are falling, how much percentage of the product is falling under per segment. So this is for C segment, this is for A segment, this is for B segment. It clearly specifies. Similarly for XYZ segmentation. And again, this is the quadrant in which I would say this is the graph in which AX, BY, and clear picturization that okay, here two products are there which falls under AY category. Similarly, three products under CY category, and all of those information, right? We can have also multiple revenue based KPIs, that what is the amount of actual revenues which these category, A category, B category, C category products are actually contributing towards. Similarly, from the ABC XYZ segmentation, XYZ point of view, what is the volume or the quantity which they are contributing towards, right? So these are basic charts, and these are the standard. SAP IBP delivers lot of standard charts, lot of standard analytics, but we can also go ahead and create based upon our own requirement how it should be. Moving towards our next scenario, which is typically from the supply planning based on, typically from inventory optimization planning. So there are a lot of inputs when it comes to inventory optimization. One of them is this is a specific template which is again readily provided by SAP. Automatically, we can just download it and use this particular template as is. These are the forecast. A lot of inputs are there, right? These are the forecast. These are the sales data. And based on that, based on these inputs, finally there are algorithms which provide the demand variability based upon what are the forecast is there. We can have lag based forecasting, we can have lag based forecast error calculation. Another input, very important input, is our target service level, how much we want to target our we want to achieve the service level. Apart from that, there are a lot of variabilities from the production point of view, from the transportation point of view, and again there are some cost inputs which are available within your SAP IBP inventory optimization for inventory holding cost, right, which basically predicts what kind of do you want to store at any specific location or not? Do you want to store any inventory at your manufacturing plant? Do you want to store any inventory at your warehouse, or how much inventory you want to push it from one location to another? I'll let it load. So all these things are given as an input to all these parameters, and once this is done, we run with the multi-echelon inventory optimizer, which not only provides the recommended safety stock as I mentioned, but also provides multiple other parameters like cycle stock, pipeline stock, in transit stock, and whatnot, right? So this is a typical what if scenario we have created here based on based on multiple target service levels. If you see here, what we have done as a planner, if I want to see that okay, if I provide 70% target service level, what is my investment is going to be. If I provide 80%, 90, 95, or 99, what are the investments which I'm going to do on my inventory I'm going to get, and is it beneficial to have it or not? So let us take a look at this particular screen, which is typically the relationship built between the multiple versions. These are on the fly scenarios basically we have created, which is also again a very useful technique, and it clearly gives the identification that okay, this is something your recommended safety stock level, and this particular line is your recommended safety stock value. And if you can see between 95 to 99, there is a very steep slope between the kind of investment we are going to make this particular line, which clearly shows that if we are going to deliver 99% of the service level, we need to have more and more inventory available at our locations, and it is definitely going to increase the the investment or working capital. Based on these things, basically the planners can definitely try to model their supply chain, try to have multiple adjustments within your within the supply chain, that okay, at this particular location, how much service level I want to achieve, and how much I'm willing to invest for to achieve that particular service level, right? So these are basic graphs. Again, there can be a lot of multiple other KPIs from safety stock point of view, for finished goods, for components. Yeah, definitely it generally doesn't only predict the the inventory numbers for finished good, but also at the component level, for which definitely you need to have the master data available, like BOM and all master data. Based on that, it definitely is going to predict what should be your RM, which location it should be, what are the levels it has, and multiple other components. You see, vendor in transit, pipeline stock, merchandising stock, cycle stock, inventory, all of these are predicted within a single optimization run offered by inventory optimization, right? Not only this, yeah, definitely from a pictorial view in a global supply chain, if you want to see in a what particular region is getting impacted, in which particular region there is an issue, you can definitely go ahead and create these kind of charts, which will definitely provide you very great insight that okay, at this particular location, what are the working capital invested, right? So for example, here 43.24 million working capital inventory is invested. Do you want to go ahead with that, or you want to reduce based on the CSL, customer service level, or not? So all these decisions definitely can be taken up within your supply chain based upon the outputs. And once these decisions are taken, again, the tool is very flexible to allow the users to adjust based upon their experience, not only based upon the output of the tool. It provides that okay, if you have more information, if you think that okay, this should not be the case, you want to go ahead with, let's say, 97 or 96% of service level, you can just go ahead and take that particular plan and move ahead with that. So a lot of flexibility is available in that case as well. Coming to another use case, that is from our supply planning, which is nothing but a very important and critical use case, that is your product mix, right? In all the across all the industries, when we talk about the restrictions or constraints from the capacity or raw material or packaging material, whatnot. So there are a lot of constraints. There are a lot of issues when it comes to whenever there is a scenario with less supply and huge demand. We need to find a best product mix in order to have the best, or the the most cost optimal or most profitable plan, which is a kind of win-win situation, not only for the organization but for the customer as well. So in order to tackle these kind of issues, SAP IBP for supply offers multiple planning engines, starting with infinite heuristic, with along with finite heuristic and optimization, which is a rough cut capacity planning engine, and it superbly models most of the or all possible all scenarios whichever are possible from the cost modeling point of view. Yeah, definitely there are a lot of cost modeling which is included based upon the notional cost, but yeah, definitely one of the very intuitive and very good solution, excellent solution from the rough cut capacity planning point of view. So here is one of the example which is based upon ABC categorization again. So this is one of the again another use case for ABC XYZ segmentation, that for A category product we want to have, because these are high revenue generating product, we want to have highest projected fill rate. If we want to allocate more and more capacity to that, based upon multiple cost modeling, multiple penalty costs and inventory holding, production cost, procurement costs, we can have these scenarios modeled, which typically shows in here that A category products are getting fulfilled as much as possible. So these products having fulfillment rate as projected fill rate as 88%, as compared to B, which is 71%, and as compared to C, if the capacity is still there, again within the C category product, it is allocating the remaining capacity. But yeah, definitely prioritizing the A category product and achieving the best possible product mix in a very cost efficient manner, right? Not only this, we can also see what are the capacity utilization for next certain amount of weeks, what are the capacity usage based upon the product family, based upon the product, compared to your capacity supply. And all these KPIs again as provided as standards. This one I have built on my own, so it is very flexible solution to to get any kind of KPIs. If you have the key figure or the data available, we are definitely good to go ahead and create this particular chart analytics very flexibly, right? Not but I mean, last, from the S&OP point of view, as I mentioned, there are a lot of business imperatives when it comes to the management review. There are a lot of things which needs to be taken as a decision, not only by the IT team, not only by the supply chain team, but from the business point of view. There are multiple dashboards which are only relevant for the higher management, basis which they can go ahead with any kind of plans. For example, here if you see it predicts the comparison between actual revenue, the AOP revenue and constraint demand revenue, which is nothing but what is actual, what is the annual operating plan revenue, which was defined earlier, and what is the constraint demand revenue, which is the output of the plan, which is output of your supply planning, right? So based on this, the decision can be taken, multiple what if scenarios can be run across different versions, and based on that, I mean, the comparison can be made of for all of these parameters between multiple versions, multiple scenarios, and the decision can finally be taken that okay, we want to go ahead with this particular plan. Let's say there are capacity requirements, as we saw that okay, this particular dashboard, we have very less capacity allocated to C category product, but yeah, we want to go ahead and increase the capacity. Then yeah, definitely that scenario can be modeled with increased capacity. The financial impacts can be analyzed and compared, and then the business and management can provide a go ahead to go ahead and increase the capacity by one shift. Whatever the charges are, what are the costs we are going to incur, it is okay to go ahead with that. Multiple other KPIs again, from the constraint demand revenue, sale forecast revenue, AOP revenue again. So all these parameters, all these things, we can definitely go ahead and check out in this particular KPIs, multiple KPIs, which we readily available by the system, by tool, and again, we can definitely go ahead with our own way, right? So with this, not taking much time, I'll end my demo here. The main objective was to cover whatever the use cases we have. Those all are configured in the system, all are achievable. Not only this, there are a lot many other use cases. If there are, I mean, those can definitely be achieved and modeled in the particular, in any kind of environment, in any kind of system, right? So with this, I will let me go back to the PPT. Yeah, with this, I'll hand it over to Randy. Randy, you can take it over from here. Thanks all. Yep.
Thank you, Lalit. And obviously, everyone, you could see the flexibility and scalability and configurability of IBP and the value of the tool and segmentation and different aspects. So it's a very complex tool, but it's gives you all the dashboards and all the information for everyone in the organization. This slide is, again, it's a overall client references. This is again just a small piece of their overall client base. Even though it says overall, it is just a small subset. But as you can see, we have covered almost every industry, and so we stay close to SAP, all the industry solutions, the roadmaps to be current. And we do a lot in manufacturing, do a lot in pharmaceuticals and all the different industries. So I would say that we're industry agnostic as a company, and we've worked in every industry and know all of the industry solutions and work closely with them. So next slide, please. Okay, and this slide is co-innovation at SAP, 3 channels for customer influence. We have the improvement, innovation, and vision. So you could see that with improvements, today's solution, customer connection improvements. In innovation, there's a plan solution, customer engagement initiative, and next products and solutions. And in vision, you have future direction, advisory councils, co-innovation, and strategic concepts. So we work very, very closely with SAP internally, and we help them in many situations in pre-sales and demos and work closely with the AEs and client partners. So next slide, please. Okay, this slide, I will turn it over to our moderator, Matangi, who's also one of our senior project managers. She handles the Q&A moderation. And again, everyone will receive a copy of a recording in the email and also a link to the individual slides. So you will have all this information. So go ahead, Matangi.
Thank you, Randy. So I'll ask a few frequently asked questions, and Lalit can help clarify those for you. Lalit, if you want to just quickly elaborate, what are typically the best practices for IBP?
Okay, so that's a good question. So SAP best practice for IBP, I mean integrated business planning, it provides you everything you need to run a planning process within IBP application for demand. I mean IBP for demand, inventory, response and supply, from time-based optimizer, order-based planning, for sales and operation planning, demand-driven replenishment, all of them. So all scope items are basically based on one comprehensive data model, which enables you to execute any integrated end-to-end business planning process. And the documentation is very extensive, which provides all the configurations, existing template, pre-configured template, and the self-study evaluations and all those things, including the end-user training. So all these things are consolidated and provided in the SAP best practices. Yep.
Fantastic. Now, does the client need to buy a separate HANA HANA product to use IBP?
No, because see, IBP is a cloud version, and it comes with its own HANA database, and it does not require any additional purchase from HANA and to be utilized with IBP functionality. So no, definitely it comes individually without any requirement.
Okay. Can you give a general idea on how SAP prices IBP for a client?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, generally speaking, IBP is a cloud application that utilizes a revenue-based yearly subscription model. I'm not sure about, I cannot speak from the SAP behalf, but it comes definitely with a separate yearly subscription, which is required for each module individually, talking about S&OP, control tower, demand management, inventory response, and supply management, right? And so, yeah, definitely it is a subscription based model, but from the pricing point of view, it is always recommended to get it from SAP because the prices are being regularly changing, maybe. Yeah.
Got it. Now, can you tell us how IBP is different from BPC or IP?
See, IBP is definitely different because IBP is not only from the financial planning tool as far as the BPC is concerned. IBC is specifically derived or designed to model all demand and planning solutions, to model all the demand sensing solutions, to predict the forecast, not only based upon from the financial perspective, but from the historical data, whichever we have. Then rough cut capacity planning is something which we do not have in any other tool like BPC, and inventory optimization. All those features are specifically to model the supply chain, to prepare plan which can further be used for execution on the execution floor, not only from the financial. But yeah, it also offers some of the financial, very interesting financial capabilities which you can achieve from the dashboard, analytics, and control tower.
Thank you. Next question. Now, does the client need to implement IBP in a big bang fashion, or can they do a phased implementation?
Definitely, there is no need to implement IBP for the entire organization at once. In fact, it tend to lend itself in implementation in a smaller sections. I mean, from the division, from the plant by plant, or functionality by functionality, utilizing, whatever the lessons learned from the previous implementation. It's always good to have multiple rollouts and to fine tune all the models. So definitely not big implementation. We can go ahead with the phased implementation approach.
Okay. Are you able to elaborate on integration requirements? Does the client need a separate team to manage it?
Not actually. So SAP offers. So that is again one of the very important feature when it comes to integration. It has multiple techniques from integration point of view, from time series, order series point of view, and it also comes with pre-configured extractors, pre-configured functional modules as and a very flexible or easy to set up kind of environment which can be quickly set up, and all those pre-configured or pre-built extractors and functional models can be readily used in order to integrate the data between any ECC SAP system and non-SAP system as well.
Got it. The next question is, what is the difference between IBP time series and order series planning?
So yeah, I mean, SAP offers these two particular modules within IBP. So I mean, at a high level, basic difference between order and time series is the bucket planning, I would say, or order-based planning, I would say. In time series, it is the lowest level of planning which we can have is a daily level, while in order series we can have it at an order level where the exact timestamp is provided. What are the different orders, purchase orders, planned orders, purchase requisitions, deployment requisitions, and all these minute informations are definitely provided within order-based planning. And apart from that, there are a lot of other techniques like confirmation runs, which is required from the sales order confirmation point of view, the deployment planning, and which is again a very important feature when it comes to distribution. All these things are available in order-based planning. But from the planning engine perspective, if we talk about from the supply planning or even from the demand planning, it is almost similar. I mean, though order-based planning doesn't provide SAP for demand, and for that you definitely have to use the time series engine. So I mean, it depends what are the techniques or what are the things you want to go ahead and implement in your organization, or you want to go ahead and start with, right? So all of them basically provide different features and different functionalities, depend on the requirements.
Thank you. One last question. Do you think is APO scrapped, and is it going to be replaced by IBP?
I would not say APO being scrapped because SAP is still extending the support for APO. But talking about ECC and S4HANA, we have, I mean, the similar kind of feature over there, right? I mean, S4HANA is now also on cloud-based solution, and we are picking up with the cloud-based solution. We don't want to be at the on-premise solution. We want to go ahead and have a kind of on-cloud, a little bit faster solution, I would say, and a little bit flexible. So down the line, definitely APO will be replaced by IBP for sure. But as of now, yeah, definitely it is not scrapped. It is still being used, and it will still be there for some time. But yeah, later, after some time down the line, IBP will definitely replace APO.
Okay, maybe we have time for one last question. What is the integration technology used for data transfer?
Okay, so SAP IBP, specifically talking about, it has three technologies. It started with CPIDS, Cloud Platform Integration, now called as CIDS, which is specific for time series. Again, it comes with multiple extractors, pre-built extractors provided by SAP. Another is SDI, Smart Data Integration, which is for your response and supply module, where order-based planning comes into picture. And now SAP has come up with another technology which is called as RTI, real-time integration, which might be replacing both of these. I mean, definitely going to replace SDI, but down the line, I think there is a roadmap where it will also be replacing CPI. So going forward, we will have only single integration technology, that is RTI, which is very real-time integration between any SAP and IBP system. So basically, three technologies are there right now. Yeah.
Sounds good. Well, thank you so much for answering all those questions, Lalit. Would you please go to the next slide? I would like to display the contact information of TIG to all the attendees. I hope you found this webinar useful. If you have any questions or want to discuss any of the topics that you've heard today in this meeting, please feel free to reach out to Randy or Mamta. Their information is here. You will receive a copy of this deck in your emails by the end of the day today. You will receive the recording tomorrow. And feel free to get in touch with us. We'd be happy to help you. Thank you all. Have a great day. Goodbye.